Welcome back to Refactoring Paleo Rose, where we take a 20-year-old Mac app and modernize it. My name is Tom. This episode, the last direct SQLite access from outside our document model. Finally. So if you remember, we have this particular structure for our data store on file. We have a document model, which is going to handle all the data for a particular document. We then have an in-memory store that we're working with, and we're going to be using that to send it to a SQLite file. At some point, we're going to change all of this, but for right now, this is what we have. But the problem has been we have this structure and we have this application, but some of the things have been getting around the document model and going directly into the in-memory store. As of this episode, we're down to one area, as far as I know. And that is our window controller. Our window controller is doing a little bit of work inside the in-memory store that it shouldn't be. So our job is to fix this problem. What's going on in the app? And where is it happening inside the UI? Well, we have one window controller that's maintaining everything that's going on here. And we have a menu item up here called Tables. Here we can import tables, we can modify a table by adding a column, or we can do some calculations. And this calculation, azimuth from vectors, is what's directly updating the SQLite table. Matter of fact, all three of these items, I believe, were added for a specific set of problems that I had years and years ago, where I was taking certain kinds of data that had directional information in an X component and a Y component, but not a simple azimuth. And we needed to change it to azimuth. As of today, I don't think it's valuable. Matter of fact, this whole entire menu is not valuable. So I want to remove this entire menu and everything in it. And this is also partly a change of my view of how data should be stored. Right now, the SQLite data store is storing the entire data table as people load. Whereas in the future, what I want to only be able to do is we can load the entire data table into memory. We'll have reference to it. But we only want to store the actual data that we're using to play. We don't need to store the entire file structure in our documents. And this is all somewhat based on that idea of having the entire file structure there. Why don't we just go ahead and get rid of this? Okay, here we are in the Xrose window controller. And this is the method that does all this work. As you can see, it's quite long, quite complex. And it's really something that should be done elsewhere. It shouldn't be done, again, it shouldn't be done by the app itself. So let's see who all calls this before we get rid of it. So here we have table perform calculate. This is what we want to get. Let's comment this out for now. And we need to go to the zip for this to make sure that we get rid of the menu item. So here's our table. Import, add column, calculations. So if we look at this, it has a first responder. I always like to get rid of these before I delete them because you never know, sometimes things stick around a little bit. So I like to close that, and now I can get rid of azimuth from vectors. And we have this table add column as well. Disconnect that, and import table. And we're just going to get rid of tables altogether. All right. Let's go ahead and delete this. Cleaner. Over here. And this is the other one, add table add column. This one's a little bit different because it's already been done. We have a table controller here, but I don't think we do anything with this anywhere. So let's go ahead and remove all of this. And this looks like a holdover. Let's make sure this isn't being used anywhere. It's actually not even in the target, so let's go ahead and delete it. This one being used. So this guy, this is the azimuth controller that we would have loaded up to be able to do the other one. Let's see if this is being used anywhere. I can get rid of that. Get rid of that. Don't need those. We still have a few errors showing up here. Let's see if we can get it all taken care of. That solved all our errors. All that. Build and run. Okay, the menu item is gone. Let's make sure that this still works. Nope, that's what I was kind of afraid of, so we need to restore that. Okay, we restored that. Great. Go back to Xcode. Let's run this. All our tests pass. So we've gotten rid of these functions that we don't need. We got rid of this accessing into the SQLite store that we shouldn't be having. And now we've cleaned up the app quite a bit. Now there's still a lot of Swift code or Objective-C code in here that eventually we want to move to Swift. But we want to do it very deliberately. We also want to get rid of as many of these zip files as we can. We can't get rid of them all until we move, unless we move completely to SwiftUI. So we can get rid of most of them, though. But it feels good to get rid of code. Getting rid of unnecessarily complicated code that's doing things a little overly specific that users aren't going to use. That's all kind of a bonus right now. So I'm quite happy to get rid of all that. Next time, in theory, we can go on and do something a little bit different. Instead of worrying about isolating the SQLite calls, we now have multiple directions where we can go and continue to improve the app. So I'm excited about that change. So next time, I'm not sure what we're doing, but it should be fun. My name is Tom, and have a good one.